And we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to now get into previewing tonight's Monday Night Football matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Jets. And the biggest storyline going into this game, now there are some storylines, of course. You know, Brandon Ayuk's got his new deal. Trent Williams' new deal. We'll keep an eye on Christian McCaffrey's status for the game because, he's questionable, but he's going to play. But I think the biggest storyline by far is Aaron Rodgers making his return. It's been a long road back for him. Last year, I mean, going from 100 to 0 that fast, when he comes out running with the American flag and that Jets crowd going crazy, it was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And then to see what ended up happening and what ended up transpiring in that game with him getting hurt after 4 plays, I mean, it was heartbreaking. It really was. And for someone that has grown up watching this guy, it really was. It was a gut punch. It was a gut punch for a lot of people. Football fans in general, Jet fans, me. It was unfortunate what happened. But he makes his return to the field. And, he comes back against a team that, maybe you could have pushed this game to later on in the season, maybe. Maybe would have eased him into it. But no, the NFL didn't do that. They were like, you know what? We're going to put you on Monday night again. And get this, against the 49ers, who have one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. So they're throwing him right back in. And didn't get any preseason snaps, which, I get, but I disagreed with it. I think he should have played at least one series. Just give him at least some reps. And then that's it. But the Jets didn't want to do that, and I get it. I completely understand. But you saw Kirk Cousins yesterday. Think he could have used some preseason reps. In terms of this game, these two teams have very good defenses. And I don't know what's going on with Hassan Reddick. Is he even going to play for the Jets? What's going on? But even without Hassan Reddick, this Jets team still has a very good defense. And I think they're going to give Brock Purdy some problems tonight. I do think that. But I do think this 49ers offense at full strength now, because McCaffrey's going to play, they're going to make their fair share of plays. And it's really going to come down to how well is Aaron Rodgers going to play tonight? And if he's going to get protections. What is the rust going to be like? What's the rust factor? Because, I mean, if he goes out there and he plays like Kirk Cousins and he has no time to throw and he's, just turning the ball over, which he doesn't do, but still, if the rust is really bad tonight, I don't really like the Jets' chances in this game. I did pick them in my spread pool because they are getting 5.5. If Rodgers doesn't have time to throw and the rust is really bad tonight, the Jets are it's going to be a long night. But, if the defense could keep it close, if, you rely on Breece Hall tonight, give him a ton of work. Because the 49ers in the playoffs, they struggled to stop the run. And Breece Hall could have a really big year. Was great towards the end. Had an overall solid year last year, but really towards the end of the year last year, he was great. And now another year removed from the ACL injury. He's going to go. He's going to have a big year. So I think that's one thing that the Jets are going to have to do tonight. Also, because you want to ease Aaron Rodgers back into it. You're going to have to rely on Breece Hall. And listen, if Breece Hall can have a big game and keep that 49ers offense off the field, that's huge. So, I'm more leaning towards Aaron Rodgers struggling. If he came back and he threw for over 300 yards, something he didn't do at all in 2022, and he throws 3 touchdowns, I mean, that would be unbelievable. But it's not. That's just not realistic. He's going to be rusty, but I'm going to say he doesn't embarrass himself tonight. I think he's going to do okay. I think as the game goes along, he'll get more into the flow, and he'll make plays tonight. But I do think the 49ers will win this game. I'm hoping the Jets defense keeps it within the number, within the 5.5. So I'm going to say the 49ers win this game. I'll say 23 to 20. Well, that's not even covering the 5.5. I'm going to say this is another 24-20 game. I'm going to say the Jets defense makes their fair share of plays. Give Brock Purdy some problems at times. But the 49ers, they're the better team. And they got all their players back. I mean, there are some concerns. I mean, there was a lot of offseason drama with the Brandon Ayuk stuff, the Trent Williams stuff, and then now the Ricky Pearsall stuff. And Christian McCaffrey's a little banged up. I mean, there's a lot going on. And, you're missing Dre Greenlaw in defense. So there could be a little bit of regression for the Niners. But I just think they got way too much talent that I don't think there's really going to be any kind of regression. I mean, maybe a little bit, but still think they're going to win 12, 13 games this year. But I'm just excited to see Aaron Rodgers back on the field. What is he going to look like after being away for so long? My biggest thing is just protect him. Just protect him. Give him time to throw. Keep the pressure at a minimum somehow. Because if he goes down, this season's not going anywhere. And every team in the AFC East won yesterday, believe it or not. It looked like the Patriots were going to be the only one, but the Bills, they came back after they were down by a lot. The Dolphins, and we got to get into the Dolphins tomorrow because that story of Tyreek Hill getting detained by police before the game for I think it was a parking violation. And I think also it was for reckless driving, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that broke yesterday. But he was able to play yesterday, and he scored an 80-yard touchdown. But that was another crazy thing that happened yesterday too, before the game. Because my friend texts in our sports chat that Tyreek Hill got arrested. And then we find out it was for, I think, a parking violation. But yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. But yeah, that was just crazy news. But he still played. He was still able to play. But yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow. A lot of stuff we didn't get to today. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this game. What are your expectations for Rodgers and his return? How do you see it playing out? 49ers. I'm gonna say 24-20. That's my score prediction. So, well, mainly because I want to keep it within the 5.5. But we got some time left here, so let me get into a little bit of the game that I was at yesterday. So I talked about it. I went to the Giants-Vikings game yesterday. They were wearing their throwback uniforms. It's, celebrating the 100th year of the Giants. And it was one of the games that I just felt like this is one of the games that they can win. And boy, that was not the case. They get off to a good start, though. Not the offense, but the defense. They sacked Sam Darnold. They get the fumble recovery. But what ended up happening, and I said it, I'm like, you got to get 7. They didn't get it. They kicked a field goal. And then it looked like they were going to get off the field again, and the Vikings were not going to cash in on anything. but there was a pass interference call that put the Vikings in great field position. And that was the end of it. It was a horrible game to watch. The only highlight of the game, now Malik Neighbors made some plays, but the true highlight of the game was them honoring their history at halftime, with all the past Giant players being there for the 100th year celebration. And Carl Banks said on the radio broadcast to, I think Sean O'Hara, you almost want to put your pads back on and help the current Giants the way they were playing. But it was bad. It was bad. That was a rough game to watch. And I've been to some bad Giant games. 2017 when they played the Cowboys in December. This game, I mean, it's close. I mean, this one I think was worse than that. Even though the Giants scored a touchdown in the Dallas game I'm talking about. This might have been the worst Giant. Yeah, this was the worst Giant game I ever went to. Because the offense just could not get anything going. And we'll get into it during the week. I didn't want to get to it because there was other things I wanted to talk about and cover today. But that was an awful game. And I had my one friend who's a Vikings fan. They were happy. Good for them. But, yeah, for me, look, I didn't really have high expectations going into the year. I had them at 7 wins. They keep playing like that, they'll be lucky if they win maybe 3 games. So, that's, I talk about overreactions. No, I'm not, look, I'm not overreacting. That was dreadful, that performance. So, well, let's hope that the Jets, the other New York team that plays in New Jersey, let's hope they put on a better showing than the team that actually was playing in MetLife did yesterday. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. So happy football is back. Like I said, we're going to continue discussing some other games that I didn't get to today. I could have just easily breezed through all of them, but no, I want to get into, some other games as well. Like, we'll get into the Dolphins game. We'll talk about the Texans and the Colts. The Giants, we'll get into them. We're going to cover all that this week. But I'm just happy that it's back. But yeah, make sure to check out all the other shows. Give the other shows some love, like I always say. And with that, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm Kenneth Gruenfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care.